Cardi B and Nicki Minaj get into a fight at New York Fashion Week.
Tana Mongeau reveals she was dating Mac Miller before he passed.
And Justin Bieber's manager feared Justin would die.
All that and more on this week's DHR Recap.
What's up, guys? Welcome to this week's recap of the biggest stories from DHR for the week. Shane Dawson revealed some huge news. We now know who the subject of his next docuseries will be, and it is none other than Jake Paul.
And because that's so juicy, we want to wait till later to tell you about it. But first, let's talk about something juicy that happened last weekend. Cardi B threw a shoe at Nicki Minaj, and she got a hit on her face. So these two rappers got into a wild altercation while at Harper's Bazaar Icons party on Friday night at the Plaza Hotel. Now, we're not exactly sure of the sequence of the events, but here's kind of what went down. So according to onlookers, Nicki walked by Cardi and stepped on her gown, causing it to rip. So Cardi approached Nicki's table to, quote, address the lies Nicki was spreading. And at some point, Cardi lunged at Nicki. Now, as you can see, security quickly got involved to hold Cardi back because she was wild, you guys. It escalated even further when Cardi threw a shoe at Nicki, which prompted security to escort Cardi out of the party. Now, it sounds like Nicki said something about Cardi's daughter, which triggered Cardi to get physical, but it gets worse. So during her removal, Cardi's behind was exposed for the world to see. And if you look at the paparazzi pics of Cardi exiting the hotel, it's clear that someone hit her on the eye. So there's definitely more to this story here that we probably don't know about, but the good news is that security alerted law enforcement about the dispute around 11 p.m., but no complaints or arrests were made. Cardi took to Instagram after the party to explain her side of the story. She didn't mention Nicki by name, but she didn't have to, you guys. In a lengthy post, Cardi started by saying, I let a lot of slide. I let you sneak dismiss. I let you lie on me. I let you attempt to stop my bags. Cardi went on to accuse Nicki of threatening industry insiders to not work with Cardi. The new mom says that she tried to talk to Nicki in person, but every time Nicki copped a plea. Then Cardi revealed the real reason for the brawl, writing, but when you mention my child, all bets are effing off. Cardi ends by calling Nicki a pussy for talking but not fighting back. By the way, we hear Nicki was as cool as a cucumber during all of this. Also, as of now, Nicki has not commented publicly on this fight. Okay, I can't believe this all went down. There was so much back and forth. Of course, Nicki Minaj responded on the radio because she's a smart businesswoman. I actually liked that approach about this whole situation. Cardi responded. It made me sad because they're two women at the top of their game. They don't need to be tearing each other down, you know what I mean? They definitely don't need to resort to violence, so I don't think we're gonna see the end of this feud anytime soon.
Yeah, I think they both felt disrespected in different ways on both sides, but a lot of people thought it was very disrespectful that Tana Mongeau kind of revealed that she was dating Mac Miller on the day that he overdosed.
So tributes and kind words about Mac have been pouring in from fellow music artists and celebrities, but it was one reaction that had everyone talking this weekend. On Friday, Tana Mongeau posted a screenshot of a text conversation between herself and Mac in which he told her, quote, "You are incredible, you are one of one, you deserve the world." In the caption, Tana expressed her sadness while seemingly insinuating that she and Mac were romantically involved. She wrote, quote, "You made me feel something. You were sweet to me every second. You had this love for life and what you do that made me fall for you 10 times harder. To feel like I was unraveling every part of your soul but have no idea the half of what you were going through, I wanted to come over last night. What I would do for you to tuck my hair behind my ear and kiss me one last time. I love you, Malcolm." Now, while the tribute is very touching, it confused a lot of people who thought that Tana was in a relationship with Bella Thorne. No one had any idea Tana and Mac were seeing each other, and a lot of people thought it was a little inappropriate for Tana to reveal this relationship so soon after his passing. Michael Weist, who you guys know was in charge of the failed TanaCon, accused Tana of doing it for attention. On Twitter, he wrote, quote, "I'm terribly sorry for the loss of Mac, but I'm so sick of influencers doing anything for clout. She should have more respect." A lot of fans agreed, but Tana cleared things up yesterday with a series of tweets basically saying, quote, I just want to apologize to anyone that was upset by my post or took it the wrong way. Bottom line, I loved Malcolm so much and never would want anyone to think my intentions were anything but true. He was truly the only thing bringing me happiness in such a depressed part of life. I looked up to him for years. That is why I was so quick to share my personal love for him. I wanted to show you the perspective I saw him from. Not just a RIP post, not just a tweet, and something everyone moves on from. However, I can see how people could perceive that post differently, not knowing how close I was with him, and that breaks my heart, and I'm sorry for that. It isn't about me, it never will be. It's about Malcolm James McCormick and how effing incredible he was.
You know, I said this on the show this week, I think everybody mourns differently, and I feel like with influencers and, you know, influential people, sometimes we go straight to social media to emote because that's what we're so used to doing in life, and it's not unusual for people to do that. That doesn't feel weird to them. I think as a viewer, seeing an influencer emote on social media, it does feel weird for us. So I'm glad she came out and apologized. I don't think she meant any ill will by it.
Agree. It is what it is. Like I feel for her. Obviously, she was hurting, and she deserves the right to express that, but I am glad she apologized too.
But I want to go back to this Cardi B Nicki Minaj feud for just a moment because we did tell you that Cardi responded to what happened, and she really was the one who was the standout in this fight. All the videos showed Cardi doing all of the damage. But Naz brought us the scoop this week of how Cardi feels about what happened.
So ever since Cardi threw a shoe at Nicki over the weekend, everyone's been looking to Nicki to tell her side of the story. And well, the queen has spoken, and this is what she had to say. So the incident took place on Friday, and that same night, Cardi took to her Instagram to tell her side of the story and basically revealed that the reason why it all happened was because Nicki was talking about her daughter Culture and Cardi's ability as a mother. Then on Sunday, Nicki uploaded a video of herself listening to the song Hard White off her latest album Queen, which many believe is a diss track to Cardi B because she references Cardi's former job of being a stripper. And then on Monday, Nicki revealed how she really feels about Cardi and the whole incident that went down on Friday on her latest episode of her podcast, Queen Radio. Nicki said she's mostly embarrassed by what went down, and she said, quote, "I could not believe how humiliated it all felt because how we made ourselves look. I would never discuss anyone's child. For someone to pin that on me because I'm the bad guy and they know people would believe them." Nicki then addressed Cardi directly by saying, quote, "You came into my effing culture. I never had to bang a DJ to play my songs. You call black women roaches. Real never attack a woman. You're angry and you're sad. This is not funny. Get this woman some effing help. This woman's at the highest point in her career and she's throwing shoes." Nicki also said Cardi, quote, "has built her career off sympathy and payola." Well, we've learned now that according to TMZ, a source close to Cardi revealed on Tuesday that Cardi has no regrets. In fact, the source told TMZ if she could throw the shoe all over again, she would. She was, quote, "simply defending her daughter's honor."
Like you said earlier, these are two queens. They both are on top. I don't want any more drama, but I am ready for the drama that is coming in Shane Dawson's new docuseries. Listen, Jeffree Star was incredible.
Graveyard Girl.
Graveyard Girl. Oh yeah, that was really good. TanaCon. So you know he has been killing it. He has Jake Paul for this next docuseries, and Amy brought us that story.
Shane Dawson just teased another docuseries, and this time it will feature none other than Jake Paul. So if you're anything like us, there's a good chance that you've been desperately waiting for any info you could get about Shane Dawson's next docuseries. After leaving us shook by his first two series about TanaCon and Jeffree Star, we've been not so patiently waiting to find out who the subject of his next docuseries would be about. And it looks like we finally got our answer.
This is gonna be a nightmare.
Shane released a teaser trailer yesterday which reveals that his next subject will be Jake Paul. And of course, the internet has so many mixed feelings about Jake's problematic past. Still, due to the success of the TanaCon and Jeffree Star docs, the Jake Paul docuseries is one of the most highly anticipated YouTube events of the year. As we all know, Jake's been a controversial figure in the YouTube world for several years now. He started out on Vine, moved on to the Disney Channel's Bizaardvark, and then went on to create Team 10, a group of YouTube stars who pulled pranks that oftentimes went too far. We mean, there was that one time his neighbors threatened to file a lawsuit against him. And oh yeah, the time he lit furniture on fire in an empty swimming pool. And if Shane made one thing clear in the teaser, it's that Jake may be mad when he finally sees the doc for himself.
And he's gonna be mad when he finds out what the series is actually about.
Yep, I think this series is going to be as good as we all think it is.
I think so. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Jake Paul, I'm very excited because support Shane. But in other news, somebody else who is getting a lot of hate this week, Shannon Purser and the Sierra Burgess movie, they were getting a lot of hate, and she actually responded to that hate, and I think Nash brought us that story.
So after the trailer for Sierra Burgess is a Loser came out, everyone couldn't wait for the movie to drop on Netflix. Fans were so excited for a film that focused on a plus-size main character, especially after the streaming platform's insatiable fiasco. With Noah Centineo and Shannon Purser starring as the main characters, fans were sure it would be a hit, and for the most part it was, but a lot of people also pointed out problems that they had with certain parts of the movie, and some fans even accused the film of being transphobic and homophobic, among other things, and not everyone was a fan of Sierra's actions. So for example, the scenes where Sierra pretends to be deaf in front of Jamie's actual deaf brother, and where she kisses Jamie without his consent are problematic. But Shannon, who plays Sierra in the movie, argues that that's kind of the point. So Shannon Purser told Clever exclusively, quote, "I think it's absolutely fair to criticize what Sierra does because what she is doing is wrong. I was really interested in exploring this flawed character, like what motivates her to act in this way, what insecurities are people who do this dealing with, and also exploring, is there room for growth? Is there redemption for people who do things like this?" So it's been interesting to see how some people are very vehemently sure that she shouldn't be forgiven, that she shouldn't have a second chance, whereas others are resonating with her. Now, Sierra definitely is a flawed character, and Shannon thinks that that's why there's some miscommunication about the film's theme and message. Some viewers might have been under the impression that they're supposed to root for Sierra the entire time, when in reality, the character isn't supposed to be 100% likable. She said, quote, "I think a lot of the confusion is coming from the fact that Sierra maybe is being marketed as a sort of fluffy teen rom-com when in reality there are a lot of underlying issues. I think there's definitely a reckoning for Sierra at the end where she realizes all the evil that she saw in the world around her is now coming from her and she has to deal with that." So we won't spoil the movie for you guys, but towards the end Sierra does some pretty messed up stuff and things end up working out for her and all the other characters by the time the credits roll. But Shannon's saying that if Netflix does order a sequel, she wants to see the characters address the mistakes they made in the first movie. She told Clever, quote, "I would like to explore Sierra as a more healthy and morally good person. I would like to see her continue on her journey of self-growth and self-acceptance, and for all of these characters to learn from their mistakes and move forward as better people."
Okay, Shannon, I'm glad you responded, girl, and I'm glad you gave Clever the exclusive. We don't get exclusives often.
We don't, but when we do, they're good. But speaking of close, Justin Bieber and his manager, Scooter Braun, you know, they've definitely been very close over the years, and they had a rough patch, and Scooter actually revealed that at one point he feared Justin would die.
Justin Bieber is in a good place in his life now, but that wasn't always the case. He had a bit of a rough patch a few years ago when he did some questionable stuff, you know, like peeing in a bucket, getting arrested for a DUI, and egging a neighbor's house. So, you know, just to name a few. Of course, we're all glad to see him back on track, but perhaps no one was happier than his longtime manager, Scooter Braun. Scooter has known Justin since he was just a wee kid from Canada covering songs on YouTube, so he has been through it all. When Scooter appeared on Van Lathan's Red Pill podcast, he admitted that he was once genuinely concerned by Justin's reckless behavior. He told the host, quote, "I thought he was going to die. I thought he was going to go to sleep one night and have so much crap in his system that he would not wake up the next morning. And I was trying to monitor him from a distance. I would fly after him at times, all kinds of different stuff." Scooter then said Justin would yell and scream at him because he wanted to tour and make music, but Scooter refused because he just wanted him to get healthy. He also added that he felt like he, quote, "failed miserably trying to help Justin for a year and a half despite his best efforts." He also added, quote, "There was a time where I would go to sleep almost every night when he had the money to fly away from me, and I was worried every night that I was going to lose him." Thankfully, that never happened, and according to Scooter, Justin was ultimately the one who woke up one morning and said, quote, "I don't want to be this person anymore." Since then, the Biebs has been pretty successful turning his life around, obviously, as we've seen. And Scooter said, quote, "The result is who he's become today, and that is a result of his own decision, no one else's."
All right, moving on to our favorite comments of the week. I'm gonna start this off with Misunderstood saying, "OMG people, Tana planned it all, including the apology. Always letting her get away with, well, she apologized for it when doing something disgusting like this is not okay." interesting how someone who shares every intimate detail with no care about anyone else, that she only shared this when he couldn't say anything otherwise. She knew all these channels would pick up the story. This is how she do people, proven herself a master liar. How many times, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I mean, I think you have an argument here. I think that, you know, there's a glass half empty and a glass half full perspective on this. I get that you have this perspective. I see it, I understand it. But I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt, because I do think when people die, I think that most decent human beings would try to do the right thing. If she's the type of person that sees an opportunity like this and says, I'm gonna milk this for a PR stunt,
Right.
I feel like that type of person is like a really bad person, and I just don't think Tana's a lot of things. I just don't think she's that negative of a person. So I'm hopeful it's not the case, but I've heard a lot of people have that perspective.
Well, my comment comes from Issa BBG. Am I the only person who has mixed feelings about this whole Shane series thing? I've been a fan for years, and it seems like all of a sudden people are looking forward to this new trend of his with the series he's been coming out with lately. And I mean, I'm most definitely glad he's getting the recognition he deserves, but I hope he doesn't branch out so far away from his original content. I like the family-like structure of his channel and fandom. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Ooh, so many thoughts. So first of all, I understand that Jake Paul is a controversial subject, and I understand that maybe everybody isn't on board with these new series because you don't necessarily get as much content from Shane as you were before, because it takes time to actually do these interviews and edit with Andrew, and like, I get it. However, I will say, for somebody who has been in the game for so long, I'm so proud of Shane, because to actually evolve and change your channel into something new and still keep it fresh and relevant, I think he's been very open about how he is now more inspired than ever before. And I think if you're truly a fan of Shane, or of any YouTuber who has expressed how they lost interest and now they've regained it, you should actually just support that and maybe realize that even though you may not be completely on board with this new stuff, if they're fulfilled, that's what's most important.
Yeah, and if you don't like the content, you should go find other new up-and-coming creators who are creating content that you're into. I think you should always be supporting growing creators. Yeah, and I think that that's the whole name of the game. You have to evolve and do things that support you as a creator, but also just like do things that are fresh. I mean, how many times can we watch anyone eat Cheetos? You know, like, you have to do different things.
Eat Doritos.
I mean, yeah, but then there's only just like Cool Ranch and like a couple of options. You have to evolve as a creator, and I think, you know, there's something out there on the internet for everybody.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for this week's recap. Did you have a favorite story? Let us know in the comment section below.
Yeah, and also let us know what you're up to this week. And I feel like it's been a couple days since we've seen you here on The Durr. You guys subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Bye. But before you go, click right over here to find out if Hailey Baldwin and Justin Bieber got married in the courthouse.
I mean, they did go to the courthouse.
They did go to the courthouse.
Did they get married? You have to click to find out. And subscribe. Duh.
Oh, yeah.
While you're here, the button's
gotta
right
subscribe.
there. It's so easy.